First of all, I say good morning and welcome to Qigong Live Online today, on a beautiful, sunny, hot, steamy, hot Bali day. So something happened this morning, which is always, and things always happen, don't they? And so what it's evoked, because it's not about it's not what the thing that happens, that's not important. That's the catalyst of the reaction. So the reaction is about learning to be flexible. I'm pretty flexible anyway. Not physically flexible, but my mind and my heart are flexible. And to be okay with change. Things can happen really instant. We had something really quite large happen this morning, and the person was not willing to look at. It was a booking we had, and they weren't willing to look at anything else, and that was it. And they said, "Okay, well that's the end of that. That's the end of that." And it was like learning how to be flexible. But I said to Josephine, I said that the catchphrase to this is, "Oh, looks like God has something better planned for us than that." And that's when I went there. with that. I said, "Oh, it's not meant to happen. That's not meant to happen, even though we had a book for a year." It's not meant to happen. And so we're going to change that and have the flexibility in our minds just to let it go. Let it go and move on and go, okay, something else is going to happen. And I think that's really important to be able to do that, is because we can have plans and we can have goals and we can do that, but we have to have the flexibility. You have to have the ability that we might have a plan, but that life has another plan that we might not understand, bigger plan than our plans, and being able to just go with they call it go with the flow. It's a bit of an overused terminology, to go with the flow, but it's something about that. It's about being able to have the flexibility of just being what it is, and then moving with wherever it's going, and just go with it when it goes. We were talking about this the other day in the Q&A. Exactly this principle. I'll just do my elbows. Exactly this principle we were talking about the other day. So it's such a right thing, but it's not easy to do because we have stories around why we think it should be that way. Instead of going, oh well, it was that way. Now it's some other way. Okay, so, and we don't even know where it's going to go. We don't even know where we're going to go. So we've got this other thing just open up this whole door of possibilities outside of where it was before. And now we've got this going on. And there's something wildly fantastic about that, as long as you can hold the uncertainty of that. The uncertainty. What did Tony Robbins said something really wise. I thought it was very, very cool. And he said that the quality of your life is determined by, I don't think he made this up, by the way, I think he got it from somewhere else, but I don't know, I can't say either or. The quality of your life is determined by how much uncertainty you can deal with. And I think it's such a right thing, because inside that not knowing, the adventure starts, the safari starts, the exploration starts, because you don't know what's going to happen. And being comfortable with that space, and a lot of people are not comfortable with that, just let it be what it is, and it'll just work itself out. Boy, there's a lot of things happen inside that for people, to say the least. But that was, anyway, that's this morning's thing that happened just before we started shooting. So we got that message just then and go, okay, oh well, obviously we're meant to be doing something else then. Yeah, and somehow I find that exciting. I find it exciting that, it's like there's always be somewhere else. There'll always be somewhere better, and a different experience and a different reason. So, I don't know. I'll tell you later on why it changed when I work out the reason and where we end up going. I'll let you know, because there'll be a reason. Always. Now I've got my shoulders relaxed, by the way, in this exercise. My hips are moving, but my shoulders, I'm not doing this with my shoulders. I'm moving my hips backwards and forwards, and that's what's moving my shoulders. So it's not a shoulder exercise, it's a hip exercise, and the shoulders just relax. Cool. Now I'm going to move my hips from side to side, and just let the shoulders and arms relax. There you go. I love these exercises, by the way. I think they're fantastic. They make you feel so good, and the whole body feels so relaxed. It's a very cool thing. Go. How do I do that? It's circles with my hips for my arm. And I'm letting the shoulder relax, elbows relax, wrists relax. And then go the other way. Oops. Yeah, so there you go. Flexibility for the day. We'll talk about flexibility. We'll do it physically. We'll do a class on flexibility. And I'm not talking about physical flexibility. I'm talking about energetic flexibility. We'll do something with that. I don't know how that'll manifest itself, but it'll be interesting to see. Let's watch, mark how this happens. I'll show you my process. Right now, I have no idea. That's the process. How it's going to happen. I don't know. I'll tell you after we finish stretching what's going to happen. I don't know. How to have a flexible mind Qigong exercise. Don't think of it. Good. Now neck. God, I've got better and better at just doing this. This is taking a while to be able to let that neck go and just let it flop. Have all sorts of fear around if I let it go I'm going to hurt myself, but it actually doesn't happen. The ligaments support yourself and stop that happening. Good. Side to side. This one's a bit more tricky. You just feel it gets to a certain place and then it just drops. It gets to a certain place, stands up, and then it just falls off that centre pillar when we're holding our neck up, which we were talking about in the class not too long ago, about that perfect balance of your neck. And I reckon these exercises help you to find out where that balance is, because you can actually feel it. And then do the circles. Now we're doing the circles with my hips, not my neck. My neck's just following what my hips doing. So my head goes back and flops forward, flops back, flops forward. That's a great thing. It looks really weird. Somebody commented about this in the 200 hours. On the weekend, I said, you think this funny? You do this outside and see how funny it is with people watching. The loony, and it's Pink Floyd, they get the loony off the grass. But it just feels good. It's a great feeling. Get a bit dizzy with it though. Okay. Now vertebra down. We move our hips, move our spine, and just let your spine relax. And your spine moves, and then your head's the last thing. It goes all the way up your spine, and then your head's the last thing that moves. And it's like this flow. It's like the seaweed exercise. It goes all the way up your spine, and as you turn the bottom ones, then they all turn slowly behind each other. So there's like this thing that happens afterwards. It comes around and then goes right around, and the neck is the last piece that goes. Hey, good morning. See. Morning, Dan. How are you today? My butterfly, my white butterfly. I have a pet white butterfly. I've mentioned this before. He just come past, did a flyby, and I know it must be all descendants of that butterfly, because I know they only last for about 2 weeks before they die after they're hatched. But I have one all the time, so there must be just the grandchildren keep coming past. I'm sure it's not the same one. Yeah, that's good. That's a good feeling with the spine, though. And that's got better and better as I've done this exercise. And I can feel the vertebrae loosening and softening. I don't use that word softening. I can feel them loosening in your spine. I'm happy today. I don't know why I should be happy. I should be really frustrated. I'm not. I'm actually the opposite. The loosening, what I said is softening the spine. It's the word softening or softening your neck, or it's such a yoga term. And I don't like using yoga terms when I'm doing Qigong, because I think Qigong has its own language. And I think Qigong with its own language, it's an important thing, having the Qigong language. So when people do the teacher's training and they do their teaching video and they use yoga language, and I always write back, can you try not to use the yoga cueing, I think they call it, and use Qigong cueing, which is it's a very, very different thing. Qigong cueing. There you go. Good. Now we use our hips, move our hips from side to side. And we go backwards and forwards. Now, I'm doing the hip movement, not with the hips, I'm doing it by moving my knees. My knees are doing circles, and that's where my focus is, on my knees, and my hips are following my knees. So it's not what it looks like. Yeah? It's going that way. Good morning, Sam. Good morning. How are you? We have a new filmer today, a new videographer today. Welcome. Sam's a very, very talented videographer. He's a very, very clever man. Some of his work that he's done has been quite amazing. So welcome to the Forest Rock family. And as I say, this is all happening by my knees. And it's moving my hips from my knees. And it feels really weird. And it's okay. Now I'm going to move my knees side to side. Let your hips relax. Yeah. Love this exercise. I wish I knew how they do this other one. They do it like this, don't they? Something like that anyway. It's like that, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know how to do it anyway, but it looks like that. Good. Bring your knees backwards and forwards, and that moves your hips forward. And just let your hips flop, and you can feel the wave as your hips flop. It goes all the way up your spine, and your spine flops as well. And the whole thing is just oh, there you go. There's another part of the exercise, isn't it? I just found another piece of this exercise. When you let your hips go and let your spine go, which I said then, your spine goes up and flicks. It comes to the top and flicks backwards and forwards. Another crazy exercise to do on the beach. I'll try this one tomorrow and see what effect it has. People just look at you and go, oh, that's really weird what he's doing. It's my own invention, it's okay. Oh, that feels great. And I'm doing this with my knees, not my hips. Oh, that's fantastic. Gee, I'm cracking myself up today. Okay, we're up to. So now we swap it around now. We go the opposite way, where we go back to the hips to move the knees, and just let the knees relax, and then move the hips to the other way. So, and they are very different. If you swap over and try it from one to the other, you'll feel a totally different sensation. So if I'm using my hips to move my knees right now, and if I stop and I change and move my knees to move my hips, do the opposite, it feels totally different. Even though it looks exactly, well, it might look the same, I don't know if it does or not. But I stop with my knees, go back to my hips to move my knees, the other one, my hips are moving now. Very different sensation in my body. And it's also helping to let my ankles go, of course, as well. But it's coming from my hips to the knees. Now, hips to move your knees around the circle, yeah, see, a totally different feeling. We're all going to turn into rubber man, aren't we? The rubber man. Good, the other way. Very cool. Now, of course, you can do the ankles the same way, so I can move my knees to move my ankles or my hips, and I can use my hips or my knees to let the ankle relax. So you do this with the other exercise anyway, but we're focusing on letting the ankles relax by moving the knees backwards and forwards. And you can feel that if you move forward with your knees and backwards, and you can feel your ankles just flopping backwards and forwards. Yep. Very good. Circles with the knees. Now I'm thinking of circles with my knees, but it's moving my ankles are just relaxed. My ankles are just circling by themselves, and I'm using the pressure in my knees to do this. Very cool. One foot. Now this is a tricky one. These are tricky ones. This one's easy because you're just using your hip and your knee to work and to flop your foot, and you just flop your foot back. And that feels really good, that. Just let the foot flop, like the hand. Good. And then do circles and let it flop still. Now I find one side way easier than the other. But I notice my balance has got better doing this. But this is the foot that's funny. It's my left foot. Standing on my left foot's not the same. This one's okay. Funny if my right foot can relax. My right foot flops more than my left one. And I can feel that difference. But the hard part's doing the circles. Yeah, that. My knee doesn't know how to do that. My knee's going, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to make you do circles. And he goes, yeah, but I don't know how to do it. Whoops. You lose balance. I don't know how to do that. There you go. Oh, I love that. Anyway, moving on. So now feel the arms. You feel your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your spine, hand, your back, and all your legs. Yeah, that feels great. So we'll bow, eh? We'll bow into the class. Then I'll have a glass of water first, eh? We'll bow, roll back onto your thumbs. Bring the left hand underneath, right hand on top. Gong. Very good. So I'm going to have a quick mouthful of water. Won't be a second. I don't know where I put my water. Put it somewhere. Where did I put it? I'm looking for a glass. There it is. It's very hot out here. Oh, excuse me. So, letting go. letting go what we think it is. Well, it's easy. See, Mark, I just said when I was walking back from there, I said to myself, how on earth am I going to illustrate letting go energetically in a physical body? And I got an exercise, only one exercise, and we'll see where it goes because it'll lead into the next one. So, we normally have an idea, we're going to do wave hands over the lake. Yep. And as soon as I say that, your mind goes, oh, I know how to do that exercise, and I'm going to show you to confirm that you know how to do this exercise, and you bring your hands straight to the front, and you lower your hands down. Now, as soon as I do this, I'm going to bring my hands to the front, I'm going to turn my hands over, and I'm going to bring my hands back. Now, this is wave hands over the lake. Bring your hands up, turn your hands over and bring it back. Your mind immediately thinks, no, that's not how you do it, right? It does that. I'd be very surprised if you don't think that. Turn your hands over and bring your hands back. Now, when you do this, you're going to bring your hands back. It's going to feel really weird. It's also not only going to look wrong, but inside your body, it's going to feel wrong too. And you go, oh, just bring your hands back. Now, you notice your arms are articulating different when it comes down. You turn them back over, it feels really, well, turn them over is not so bad. Bring them to the throat. We know this piece. Yeah, we know that. As soon as you do this, no, we don't do that. And your mind is hanging on to the old way it's going to do. So I'm going to beat your mind up a bit. And I'll just let you have a few practices of that so it feels really uncomfortable for you because you know how to do this exercise. Turn your hands over. I'm going to teach your mind to be flexible. Bring it up. Good. Comes up. As I say, this is wave hands over the lake. As soon as I even say that, you go, no, it's not. In your mind, no, it's not. It's not that. It's something else. You just made it up. I did. On purpose. Just to get your mind activated about doing something it doesn't want to do. Because it's actually not even a very comfortable exercise. Your body doesn't articulate this, your body doesn't articulate that way very well. It just doesn't. Because of the whole going on with the shoulders and your arms and your elbows, it's really hard to do that. So we pick something that's not fundamentally easy in the way our body normally articulates. I should do another one equally as challenging. But this is enough. Good. Okay, so we're going to change. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you different cues so your mind goes, oh, there is something we can do. Now, when you turn your arms over, when you turn your arm over, I want you to turn it over from your elbow and turn your elbow over that way to turn your arm up. And so the palm faces up, yeah? From that one to that one. Now, from that one to that one. Good. So when we do heaven to earth exercises, we go up this way. Yeah, we start off this way, which is the same as going this way to the front. We do that, and then we do exactly the same thing. We turn both the arms over. And we do it by rotating the elbows. The elbows rotate, and we send energy down the arms, and the arms spiral over so it comes down. So we're going to do the same thing in the front. Comes up. And then the energy is going to go down both arms. As it goes down both arms, the energy goes down. It's going to spiral down the arm and turn the arm over. As it goes down, it's going to twist around and turn the arm over. You do that. Yep. So breathing in. And breathe out. Spiral. As you breathe out, bring your elbows down. Spiral the energy down your hand and out through the fingers. There you go. So that feels different already, doesn't it? So we try that again. Comes up. Breathing in. Breathing out through the arm. Spiral down the fingers. Out through the fingers. Good. Good. Now, what you're going to do is I'm going to give you another cue, a different visual cue. I want you to feel like there's an energy bar of energy coming from your hands. It comes from heaven, and it's coming from your palm of your hand straight to heaven. Now, remember we stand there like this, and we have these two parallel shards of light going into the universe. We can do the same thing, holding your hands with the energy coming out of your palm of your hands, holding it like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the shards of light to come down, and it's going to push your hand down. You're just going to, when you're here, just going to relax your arm and let the light push your arm down till it comes down beside your body. Then it's going to turn off, or it's going to turn, and all you're going to do is turn it over, and it's going to rotate back until it's facing towards the ground. So now that energy point's coming out of Lao Gong into the ground. So it comes up, turn it over, rotate the arms. The two fluorescent tubes are coming out of the palm of your hands. They push your hands down, and just relax your body, and they push your hands down. And then you turn the two fluorescent tubes. So look at my hands go red straight away when I did that. So it's the fluorescent tubes hitting your arm, and I'm going to turn them over, and I'm going to take them into the ground, and they're going to go off. They're going to cross each other. They're going to go out into the universe this way, and then they're going to cross each other, and they're going to go down into the earth. Yep. So I can feel like that. I'm turn them over, and then put them into the earth. Good. And as soon as they hit the earth, they're going to start pushing the hands back up again. So I just create another new exercise. Turn their palms up. Good. Feel it on the palm of your hands, pushing your hands down. Good. Then they cross over. The lights coming out of your hand, they cross over and they go into the ground. And as soon as they go into the ground, that pushes the hands back up again. Good. Turn the palms up. Now remember, they're facing down. The two pieces of light, or the energy bar that's coming out of both hands, is facing the ground. We're about to turn it up, and it's going to go back up. They're going to cross each other again, go back up to heaven again. Back to heaven. Good. Let them push your hands down. Cross them over in front of your body into the ground. Let them push your hands up. Good. Let the two energy fields cross over and go back to heaven, cross over and back, straight back up to heaven again. Push the hands down. As soon as it gets to heaven, it pushes them down. Turn them over, and as soon as you turn them over and face the ground, as soon as they're into the ground, it pushes your hands back up again. Turn them back up towards heaven. As soon as they get towards heaven, it pushes the hands down. Cross the energy over. Pushes the hand. As soon as they're into the ground, pushes the hand back up again. Oh, that's great, isn't it? Breathing in. Breathing out. Comes down. Turn the hands over. Breathing in as they come up. Actually, they might have the wrong breath pattern. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. It's got to be breathing in by them palms up, and then breathing out, turn down. When they come down, breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Yeah, that's the right. It's a different breath pattern. Breathing in. Breathing out. They turn over, now the lights go straight towards heaven. Take a breath in. Breathing out, let the hands, to push the hands down as you're breathing out, because you're relaxing. Take a breath in. Breathe out, rotate them over towards the ground. That's the breath. Breathing in as they come up. Breathing out. Take a pause breath, breathe in. Breathing out, push the hands down. Take a pause breath, breathe in. Breathe out, turn them over. Yeah, that's the right breath for it. That's a weird breath pattern, isn't it? Breathing in. Breathing out, rotate the shards of light through your hands to heaven. Take a breath in first though. Move on the out breath. Breathe out, push the hands down. Take a breath in. Breathe out, rotate them into the ground. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. And breathe out. God, there's another breath pattern to it too. We're inventing exercise, we're even inventing the breath. Breathing in. Breathe out. As you breathe in, you're drawing the light from heaven into your body. As you breathe in, coming down, feel the body expand. And then breathe over, turn the hands to the bottom. Good. Breathe in as they rise. Breathe out. Turn towards heaven. Breathe in, feel the body expand. As you're bringing the energy down into your body. Breathe out, connect the light to the ground. God, both of them are very different. They have a very different effect. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Feel the body expand as it's breathing in the energy down into your palm of your hands and expand the whole body. Breathe over, turn it over into the ground and feel the pulling down into the ground. Then breathe in from the ground. Rotate towards the heaven, breathing out. Breathe in from heaven. And breathe the heaven's energy into the ground. On the out breath. It's fantastic. We'll do it one more time. Breathing in from the ground. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Just rest there. God, my hands are alive. Look how pink they've gone. I've got pink hands now. So there you go. So, felt good in the end, didn't it? Now remember, I've never done this before either, so I did the same thing. So when I first started, just a little bit of, just going back on that. When I first started and I did that, and I turned my arms out, that part's okay. But when I brought them down, that's really alien. I've never done, there's no exercise that does this. Not like that anyway. Well, not from there to there. When it come down, I had my arms getting crushed underneath. My hands were funny. My shoulders my muscles were turned out. The arm was turned out. It felt really awkward. I don't think there's anything in a martial application where you do that exercise with the arms. So you bring your elbows back, but you don't bring your arms down like that. It's a strange thing to do. So when I first started doing that, it was really alien. It didn't feel, and it felt really uncomfortable. And as I said, it triggered the response. Well, that's not how it's done. That feels really weird. But then when you change the concept and add a whole lot of other variables to it, all of it took on a whole different life, and it became okay. It became okay because it's actually really powerful. And so I didn't know that either. So it evolved as I kept doing it too. And then we had two different breath patterns, and both the breath patterns had a very different reaction inside the body. And so that idea of breathing in from the ground through the shards of light coming out from your hands right into the earth, from that idea, from the breath of that, to they're like lifesavers, Star Wars things, yeah, but they're really big ones. They go into the universe, and when you turn them over, they crisscross each other, and they turn over, and they go to heaven. And then when they were pushing them down, and as they were pushing them down, the body was absorbing the light into the hands from heaven. And then the best part was this part of the heaven was connected to heaven. And then you relax, breathe out, and then they just rolled over by themselves and reconnected. It's like they went back to their origin, back to connecting from heaven to the earth again. And we started again, breathing in. And they floated up because the energy was pushing the hands up. And as soon as I rotated the elbows down, the beams of light went up into the air. But this one here, when I breathed in and the energy was coming in my palm of the hands, I can still feel it still going from before, from that. And the most awkward part of the exercise when my hands were down here turned into the best part of the exercise, because then when I turned it around and I went breathe down and go, I feel the two lights going down, and they're just going into the earth like that. And as soon as I got to the earth, there was this drawing down into the earth, and I felt that happen. And as soon as they turned over, then I felt, whoa, look at that, just sucked me down into the ground. And as soon as it gets sucked in the ground, the energy wants to push it back up again. So all that happened in an exercise from something was completely abhorrent, is a good word, abhorrent for my body to feel. It didn't feel good doing that. Changing. So there's the flexibility, that the thing we hold on to is that things can only be done a certain way. You can only do, what's another one? We'll pick another exercise. Oh, I got the exercise straight away. That's how, by the way, I thought to myself then I need another exercise, and it came like a millisecond, and it was, there's two parts to it, but we'll do the first piece, which is floating silk hands. So the first one came with this one. Yeah. And we turn our palm up, which is interesting. It's the same exercise, so that, and the palm comes down. But see, we're doing one arm. But when you go to the side this way, because the body's turning, then it's easy for the arm to come down and come up. Yeah, and it comes back to the front. So it's easy to do that as it comes down. Our body, hips rotating, so that the hips get out of the road of the arm. As the arm comes down, it gets out of the road. Right. So your body's already learned how to do this. And there's a pathway that it knows really well. The arms come down, comes up, comes forward, turns, the hand comes down. So we know that, right? Good. So this is a really easy pathway. We've created this an energetic pathway with our hands. Cellular memory. Everybody knows how to do this exercise this way. And this feels really good, and everything just floats. The arms float because you've done it so many times. You've created an energetic pathway, and it just does it by itself because it knows where to go. I don't have to do that. It just does it by itself. Comes around, and all I'm doing is turning my hips. Good. So we're going to change this, and we're going to give you another variation. But I'm not going to do it from here. I'm going to do it when we bring our hands down. So I give you the shock value to your head. Now, I don't know how this is going to manifest itself. Just let's see, we watch what happens. I don't know how we're going to do the second part. I saw the first part. I don't know what happens when we go to the back. We'll work it out. Bring both hands up. Good. Don't turn the hand over. Bring the hand straight back. Bring it straight down. Turn the body. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Turn the hand right around and come forward with the back of the hand. And it's going to go across the top of the hand. Oh. And then turn the hand over. Oh, I got to even remember what I just did then. It's got to come straight down. It comes up the back and it turns around and goes the other way. And it comes forward, the back of the hand facing forward. Well, I had that hand that way. Did it that way. It's got to go across the back of the hand to back of the hand. And then turn, and that hand turns over, and this one comes straight down. There you go. Now your mind's going, no, this is not how you do this exercise. You can't do it this way. Yes, you can. I'm turning it right around, and I'm coming forward. And it goes back of the hand to the back of the hand, and it comes straight down, turns. Now it doesn't feel remotely nice, by the way. This feels really awkward and clunky. Also, I need to turn that hand over. It feels awkward and clunky. Back of the hand, back of the hand. Turn that hand down. This one comes down. It's like learning a complete new exercise, but you think, no, this is not how you do this exercise. But the flexibility is that you can just change. I'm going to change another piece. It's going to make it even more difficult to do this exercise. Good. For the next time we do this, don't move your hips. Hand goes across the top of the hand. Stay facing towards the front, just move the hand down. Keep looking towards the front. Oh, that's even more ugly, isn't it? No hip movement. Across the top, back of the hand, back of the hand. Turn it down. Other one comes up. Don't turn your hips. I just turn my hips in. Comes up, turns the back of the hand. Comes forward, back of the hand coming forward. Across the top of the hand. Turns down, the other hand comes down. Don't move your hips. Just use the arm. Use your shoulder to do this. Now that is just not nice. This feels wrong in so many ways. One is I'm not using my hips for a start. Now how do you change that? Yeah, it just feels very, very ugly. The only thing good is when we've got the two yang surfaces passing each other. That's a nice feeling. And when that hand turns and the other one comes down, nice. But everything else after that, not good. Especially when you're not moving your hips. Turns up. Going forward. So even that's uncomfortable, isn't it? It's uncomfortable and wrong, and because we haven't even built up any pathways at all. The only part that felt good was that part, was when the two yang surfaces, the yang part of my top hand and the yang part were going across each other. That was a nice feeling, and then the turning of the hand was okay. But moving this hand down without moving your hips is like an alien event happening in my body. I can't describe an alien event, whatever an alien event looks like in a body. I was having one. Because I don't think I've ever moved my hand down that way without using my hips to do that. Because my hip moves the hand, the hip even turns the hand. The hip turns the hand and the hip brings it back. And then the hip brings it back when the hips come back and brings it back forward again. So the arm's not doing anything at all. But when I did that, and it come down and I'm not moving my hip, the arm's moving by itself, and it doesn't like to do that because it's usually attached to something else. And now I'm not doing anything from my dantian to move the arm's moving by itself. Coming down, you can use gravity on the way down, which is okay. We can get away with that one. But then when it turns, how do I get it to turn the arm? It comes up, turns, and it turns right over and then comes back up. And I'm not using any energy from the dantian to do that. That one there is okay. I can feel the energy for that one. But as soon as that hand comes down by itself, down's okay. Spiraling energy, really weird. Yeah, so we can see what we just did then. Good. So we can understand. So I'll talk a little bit through what's just happening. So I'm just playing with it so I can feel what's happening inside the body. So because I'm stopped using my hips, then the energy has to be generated from somewhere else to move the arm. Not the arm. I don't want to move the muscles on the arm. If I use the muscles of the arm to come down to turn the arm, if I'm using muscles, I'm defeating the whole point of doing Qigong. If I'm using muscles to bring this up, I'm using muscles to turn it, I'm using muscles to bring it back forward again. If I'm using my shoulder to bring it back to the front, I'm going back to a physical exercise again, and I don't want to do that. Normally it's coming from my hips. So we have to change the way you see it so that your mind can make sense of the movement of the energy and what's happening. So we'll go through that. We'll go through it piece by piece. And I'll tell you what I felt, what's happening. So we come forward. Yep. The hand comes down. Of course, easy to lower your arm. You just use gravity, so you just ride the gravity down. When he got to the bottom, from my physical center, without moving my dantian, it came up, went down the arm, and as it went down the arm, it turned the arm around. Same thing when the energy was going down, it was spiraling around the arm. Spiral around the arm. And then I had like an elbow string, or like a wrist string, pull the hand up, and to pull the hand up, and then it moved it forward by there. But what happened was, it wasn't because of we turned to the side, I'm facing this way and the hand's gone down. I'll do it so I can see what it did. I went that way, went down the arm, turned the arm around, then the wrist string pulled the arm up. The wrist string pulled the arm up by itself, so it's externally pulling my arm from there to there. And then when it's coming forward, the wrist string was moving my arm forward. And then the wrist string was holding in this position. From the wrist string was holding over the top of the arm. Yeah. And then the energy went down the arm and turned the arm back over again. And that's what was happening. Now that's complicated to say the least, but that's what was happening inside my body when I stopped using my hips. Something else took over and started doing the exercise a different way, because how else are you going to do it? And that was trying to avoid using muscles to do it, because normally what would happen as soon as you do that, you're just going to engage muscles because you don't know how any else. But if you know gravity lowers it down, spiral the energy around the arm, turns it around. Wrist string brings it up. Wrist string brings it forward. Wrist string goes across the top of the hand, and the energy going down the arm turns it over back to the front. So all of a sudden the body had to do it a different way. Yep, it had a pathway it normally was doing it, and the body said, no, you're not doing it that way, you have to do something else. So immediately it had to change the way it was doing it to allow that you'd change the exercise. And this is the flexibility that we have. And that's a really potent thing what just happened then, because I'm watching my body adjust to something that I've just made it do something really weird, and I watched it energetically adjusting to how to do the exercise. And I wasn't telling it what to do, it just worked it out itself how to do that. And it worked out, I only had a couple of times to practice it, because when I first did that, my body had no idea, has no mental idea of how to do that exercise, especially energetically. It's never been taught, and it's doing something completely strange and weird how to do that. And then I watched my body working out how to do it energetically. I watched it, well, I don't know whether it was my mind or I just watched my mind or my consciousness working out how to turn the hand over and bring the hand without moving my hips back. And then what spiraled the arm at the bottom, I felt the energy move. I felt the elbow string bring it up, the wrist string bring it up. I felt the wrist string bring it forward, across the top of the body. And then I felt the energy go down the arm and move the arm over. And then it just started by, as soon as I did that, then I knew what to do now. Now it created a new pathway energetically. Gravity pulled it down. The energy spiraled through the arm. Wrist string bring the arm up. Wrist string bring the arm forward. Wrist string across the arm. Rotation down the arm, energy down the arm. Brings it down. There you go. So that's what was happening inside that exercise. So that's a really good example, and that was good for me too, because remember, I don't know what's going to happen with that, and I was watching my own body react to that, and it quickly worked out. It quickly changed what it was doing to accommodate a totally different movement in my body, and then worked out how to still do it energetically without having physical piece. Initially, when I first did it, was all physical. I will not lie, it was a physical movement because my body had no idea what that was, and I just come up and go, oh God, with that, and that was all using my muscles. Was all using my muscles to do that, the first couple. And then all of a sudden the body's going, okay, well, how do we do this energetically? And I'm not thinking this, it's just working it out by itself. And then all of a sudden I can feel the energy spiraling the arm. I can feel the elbow string bringing it up. I can feel the elbow string bringing it forward, going across the top, and then I felt the energy going down the arm to turn the arm over. And I wasn't doing that. The body was working out how to do it itself. So this is this, know that something's going to come from something you do. There's always, the body's going to adjust in its own way and learn a different thing if you've already have this understanding of, and this would be the same in life. If you know that things happen in life that you don't plan for, you don't plan for it to happen, and this is the way you want it to be, and then something happens to change that. And can we just go, okay, well, obviously we're going to do something else now. Instead of that, we're going to do something else. And then allowing that energetic flow to follow and just flow where it goes to the next place without getting caught up into, oh, it should be this way, it should be that, it shouldn't be that way. We're not allowed to turn your hand over this way, you can't. And just go, okay, well, we're doing that. Okay, so how can we adapt to that? And the unique part was to watch my own body work it out. It wasn't my mind. My body started doing it by itself. I started feeling the energy moving in my body, and I felt the elbow string, that wrist string, because how else are you going to get it up unless I use muscles? And I felt my elbow string and my wrist string bringing my hand forward, turning it over. And then I felt the energy go down the arm to turn it over. So I'm just saying, I'm just using this as an example. So that's the flexibility we have. So it's like getting on my scooter and going somewhere, and I'm driving down the road, and something happens here a lot here. We have ceremonies, and when they have ceremonies here, they walk down the street with all the costumes on, and the road's closed. So you could to go down the road, I want to go somewhere, you go down the road and you walk in the back of a ceremony. Now, we're not talking 2 or 3 people in the middle of the road, we're talking hundreds of people in the road. So then you end up going a different way, and you end up going down the side and go down a road you've never been down before, cut across the back, go around another road you've never been down before to get back on the main road that you have been on. And these detours are like adventures, because we've been forced to do it by something else. But if we can just let it go and go, oh, well, we can't go that way, we're going that way. And then all this way, I've never been down this road, I've never been down that road, I've never been down that road, and all of that's the adventure. But how hard is it to get off, this is the road I normally go, and how hard is it to go, oh, well, can't do that, let's go this way. And drive down a road you've never been down before. And I encourage you today, because we're talking about this, you're going to get an opportunity to practice this. You watch, and please message me when it happens. Tell me how it affected you today, because we've created this today. So it's going to affect your life somewhere today when you had some plan and you've had to change it, and you get a test to see how flexible you are to go, oh, well, that's not going to happen, let's do something else. And let me know what happened to people watching it today. Let me know your experience of that, because as I say, we've evoked that into our lives in a certain way. Well, I've evoked it into my life because it's already happened this morning. And so I'm evoking it into your life so you can get a practice of it. How's that? Your Qigong practice today is see how good you are going, we're going this way. Let me know, please message me. Let me know, I'm intrigued what that looks like. It'll be a good thing, by the way. It won't be horrible. It won't be nasty. It'll be advantageous to yourself, but you'll get to practice it. Let me know what happened. I love that. There you go. Flexibility. Yeah. It's a great thing, isn't it? Mental flexibility, spiritual flexibility. Physical flexibility is something you're born with. Your body can be stiff from the time you're born. It's not something and then other people just completely put their head between their legs and all that sort of stuff. We're just different. But mental, spiritual flexibility, very different. Spiritual flexibility, how's that one? Okay, have a beautiful day. Blue sky day today. Enjoy your detour today. Cool. Cheers. And bow to each other in the class today, and everybody else that's going to watch this video. Hopefully they do, and they'll have the same. The funny thing is, if they watch this exercise a year later, it'll happen to them, and that same day, if they watch it a year later, that's still going to happen because we've evoked the energy of this class to affect your life. So no matter when you watch it, it's going to happen for you. Don't you love that? Because life's bigger than we think it is. Okay, have a good day. Bye bye.